Then we focus on national productivity. We begin to look at all the different sectors of our industry, finance, manufacturing, petrochemical, whatever areas. And we benchmark with the world's highest standard and practices. So today, people like to come to Singapore, investors like to come in Singapore because of the high productivity and a very disciplined, skilled workforce. The National Wage Council I mentioned about came out from the tripartite value system. So this National Wage Council just makes sure that as we do well, the people are rewarded. So our national wage keep increasing for the last 35 years and on to 50 years. We don't have to fight. In the early days, we have to go on strike, we have to try to force the hand, Labor union asking for 500% increase in salary. Did the economy grow by 500%? No. So if you allow that, today you let the postman strike, you give it to the postman. Next day the nurses will strike, you give to the nurses. Then all the different unions go on strike. When will this end? Today in Singapore, there's no strike. It's illegal to strike. If you have a dispute or disagreement, there's an industrial arbitration court. Go there first. And if it's determined that you have a bad deal, then they give you permission to strike. Now, the next important capacity building that we built together was national service. When we gained independence, true sovereign independence in 1965, our police and our military was from Malaysia. How can you lead and govern a country when your police and your soldiers are from your neighbors? So we have to gently persuade them to please go home. Then we have to build our own police force and our navy, our army. Guess where we did? Police was easy to build, much easier than soldiers. So we had to go to a similar situation like us in the world. We went to Israel and asked the Israel military to train our first batch of officers. They came, but we were so afraid to offend our neighbor. We called them Mexicans. And this is now public knowledge. But they came and they trained and gave us today the most advanced and the most skillful military in our region. So today, Singaporeans, every man is a soldier. So it's a compulsory national service, regardless whether you are son of a millionaire or the son of a minister. Every man goes into the army and serves for 2 years. It is a time for national service and a time for leadership development also. When you graduate or when you leave the army and you seek employment, your employer will ask, what was your rank when you left the army? If you say, oh, I was just a corporal or private, they say you can go home because you were asleep while you are in the army. But you say, I was a captain, I was a major. Then they say, you have learned how to solve problems and how to make good decisions. So now, all the men are all competing to be selected as officers. We have another institution called the Corrupt Practice Investigation Bureau. This one reports directly to the Prime Minister, where no one is spared when it's caught for corruption. We make sure that this culture of corruption-free and a country in the private and public sector led by men and women of integrity is enforced. You come to Singapore, do not try to bribe anybody. You get into a lot of trouble because Singapore is a corruption-free country, one of the top 10 countries. Then we want a world-class infrastructure, transport infrastructure. Today, all our roads are properly paved, no pothole. Every road have drainage, every road have street lights. And there's everywhere when we have traffic jam, we solve the problem. Have flyover or go underpass. And today, Singapore has one of the world's best land transport infrastructure, air transport infrastructure, and sea transport infrastructure. Lastly, we built the institution of e-government. Today, Singapore is the most transparent society. Over 1,500 services can be done online. You can pay your fees, your fines, whatever you want to pay, you can do it in the comfort of your office online. So you don't have to line up and queues on counters to do your payment. Plus, all the government departments talk to each other. Government with the people, government with the business. Singapore is a very advanced. And every 2 years, the International E-Government Convention is held in Singapore because the world considers Singapore most advanced. We don't have copper anymore. We are all 100% fiber optic. So even you come to Singapore, from the airport down, you can even have free internet. So everyone is encouraged. This brings productivity and transparency in our society. Then how do you build people? Build the capacity for the people. Job creation is number one that we mentioned early, and we did that through industrialization by attracting a lot of investors to come to Singapore. We have massive job creation and we have overdone it. We have now more jobs than we have people. Secondly, wealth creation through the housing policy. So through public, affordable and sustainable public housing, we were able to create wealth for every Singaporean. So, but you have to apply and ask to stay. But there's a limit. Like today, if your combined salary between you and your wife or your household exceed $10,000 a month, then you cannot. You have to go into the private sector. But most people, this is an open secret. When your salary with your spouse exceed 10,000, you just ask one of them to resign, temporarily be out of job. You submit in, and your income, your combined income is less. You get your application is accepted and confirmed. Then it's easy to find another job. Okay, and so now every Singaporean who wants to live in an affordable public housing can own one. Then, another area that we build capacity is quality education. Today, our educators go to the best universities in the world that are major and specialized in education, and we come back and we try to use the best educational curriculum and techniques and teaching. So our students compete in the world, all over the world. And for education-wise, we are able to compete with the best all over the world. So people from all over the world are coming to Singapore even for education. The next area, we provide grants. That means in Singapore, you don't have to be rich to have a good education. You just need to work hard. You will get bursaries and scholarship. In fact, every year, we have 50,000 students that take the A-level exam, which is a 12th grade. And about 4,000 of them come out with complete score, top score, A and distinction. And we bring them and ask them, are you willing to serve the nation? Make serving your nation, making Singapore a better place, your call, your passion. And if you're willing, sign here. Pick any university in the world, Cambridge, Oxford, Harvard, Berkeley, Stanford, University of Ghana, anywhere you want. You can go. The government will pay 100% of your school fees, plus books, plus housing, plus pocket money, and the air ticket. But every year you're out, you come back and serve 2 years. If you go out for 4 years, come back, serve 8 years. If you go out for 3 years, come back, serve 6 years. During that time, you're given high pay, good job, and fast promotion. And if you continue and do well, we promise you can be a permanent secretary or a minister one day. In one generation, we were able to transform the whole public service. All the unit head, department head, divisional head in the public service are all from this group. So we have one of the best public service in the world. And this was done through good education. We have now accomplished a very green, clean and safe environment. As you travel around, even our parks and the trees that line our country, they get a haircut in a scheduled way so that you have a very beautiful, clean country and environment. General Skills Development Fund. We know that the world is going through changes in technology. So any Singaporean who want to learn new technology, for example, you do not know about computer and you want to take computer, or you want to learn something about accounting, or you want to learn something about biogenetics for the knowledge-based industry, you can sign up for it and the government will pay 50% of your retraining. Your employer only need to pay 50%. Because we have no resources, human resources is the most important. And the government continue to build capacity for the people. Our medical service is as good as anywhere in the world. You can choose to live in a suite when you go to a hospital, or share the room with 6 people, or share the room with 12 people. Of course, the prices are different, but the service, the medical service is still the same and the best. Then we are always looking for leaders to lead our country for the future. We do not allow the destiny, the future of our nation, to be in the hands of any foreign entity or groups of. We want to determine our own future. So we make sure that our leaders are being prepared. All our young people are selected not based on their academic ability, their leadership. We make sure that they are involved in leadership activities, trained in leadership while they are still in school, and community service, so that when they come out, they are balanced people. We have a sympathetic social welfare. If anyone have any misfortune, death through a major health problem or accident, then the home is paid for automatically. The surviving spouse do not need to worry about it through a simple small contribution in insurance. All the children is guaranteed to get education all the way to university, but no automatic promotion. They must make the grade. Then they can continue to go. Their needs will be provided. We have a generous, sympathetic social welfare. We also redistribute our wealth. Every year, because of our discipline, we always have budget surplus. Most countries have deficit, have to go and borrow money. For us, we have more money than our budget asks for. So with budget surplus, we take about a big portion, half of it, and put it into reserve. The other half we distribute to the whole nation. All the citizens gets a check. That's how we share our wealth. We have low income tax. The average personal income tax, the highest is 17%. And so the highest in corporate tax is around 22%, we adjust. We have no death tax. You know, what we call when you die, all your property, in some country you have to pay additional tax. You pay tax while you are alive, making those money, and when you die, they want to tax you again. In Singapore, no death tax. So we welcome. So this way, people don't try to hide their money here and there, overseas here and there. They can leave their money in Singapore and is protected and is safe. We have very low inflation to make sure that the wages you earn is not eroded away by inflation. So we produce very little food because of our shortage of land. We buy food from anywhere in the world based on quality and price. So we have food security. We have enough rice for the next 12 months. If there's a world war, our people can survive. So we can have any food from anywhere in the world, and then that way we control very seriously the inflation. This is what Singapore has accomplished in this journey. Today, we are basically a $310 billion economy. Our GDP last year was about 310. Okay? That means all the goods and services produced in Singapore, based on US dollars or nominal GDP, is 310. But based on PPP, the purchasing power parity, this 310 US dollars is equivalent to over 445 billion international dollars. And because we have a small population, a population of about 4 million citizens, and together with the foreigners, we are 5.5, our GDP per capita is very high. Okay? In US dollars, our GDP per capita reached almost $60,000 a year per person. All right? And if you just use the actual citizen, the 4 million citizen, then our GDP per capita is very high, 75,000 a year. So Singapore is, then based on this GDP per capita, we are about one of the richest countries in the world. Not the richest, but one of the top. So this is what we have accomplished. This journey with this vision, these values and principles, and with good leadership and a clear plan to move ahead, we are today at this place. Our ease of doing business in the world, we are number one for the last 10 years. Singapore is the easiest place, according to World Bank, to do business. In the old days, if you ask for a business license, you are lucky to get it in 9 months. Today, you get it on the same day. You apply in the morning, by afternoon, you have a business certificate to do business. That assumes you provide all the information properly, accurately. Today, in terms of competitiveness of our economy, we are the top two, number two, most competitive place to do business. Our labor market, our educational system, everything makes us a very competitive economy. Okay? And we are the top 10 country with the least corruption. So these are public information that everyone can see. We are number one in our education, number one in labor relations. We are one of the highest, 46% of our GDP is safe every year. Okay? Our credit rating is AAA. That means all the big institutions in the world will be very happy to lend us any amount of money we want to borrow. But most of the time, we don't need it. We don't need that. We use our money carefully. Life expectancy in Singapore is over 80.1. That means if you come to Singapore and live there, you have a good chance of living up to 80 years old. And the quality of education, math education and science education, number one in the world. Today, we have reached full employment for all, and we are able to have quality education for all, housing for all, healthcare for all, justice for all, quality infrastructure for all, the number one port in the world, world financial center, medical center, educational center, one of the best airline in the world, and one of the best communication center in the world. Number one in e-government. When international business people and executives will ask, where will you choose to live? If you have a choice to bring your family, live and work, they choose Singapore. Today, we have over 15 million visitors that come and visit Singapore every year. This is translated to over 40,000 visitors at the airport every day. Now, this is no small thing. We are only a tiny island nation, but we have very little restriction for visitors to come to our country. How did we build this nation? We have three types of transformational leaders. We need leaders who can have a vision, or visionary leaders of the future, a clear picture of what Singapore wants to be or wants to become. These are the designers for our nation. Then we have another group who are the people who can develop this vision, translate, turn this vision into reality. Then there's a third group who are the managers, Once the infrastructure is built, transport infrastructure, social infrastructure, we maintain and we improve on it. So these three groups of leaders are very important, but they all have something in common. They all have the qualities of a servant leader who want to serve the nation, want the best, build capacity for the nation. Shepherd leader, protect, provide for the people, and prosper the nation and the people. And then steward leaders. They were good stewards of the resources that we have, the technology, the knowledge. Although we don't have raw natural resources, today we can buy resources from anywhere in the world. We also have our state corporations or parastatal. In Singapore, when they don't do well, we close them down. We do not put them on life support. So every one of them contribute to our sovereign wealth. Singapore Airlines, Capital Land, all these are very well-known institutions in Singapore that are run by the best people and are profitable, and they contribute to our reserve and sovereign wealth. Leaders of society must come together to help build the country. The government played a very key role, but we have business leaders who share the vision. We have educational leaders, teachers, professors who encourage discipline, hard work. And then we have the celebrities for your sportsmen, performing arts, media leaders, religious leaders, and the family unit. The parents are encouraging their children to work hard for a better Singapore. So these 7 domains of society were all mobilized to help build the nation. So we were together, going in the same direction. That contribute very importantly to where we are today. Then look at Ghana. Today, Ghana in 2015 is one of the better economy. You're doing very well. I must congratulate you. Of course, you have a lot more potential to grow and expand. But if in 15 years from now, say 2030, and you dream about a nation, all right, a Ghana that is prosperous, peaceful, and harmonious, and then built on a multi-ethnic, multi-religious society, based on justice, equality, based on integrity and meritocracy. Will you say yes? Sure. Every Ghanaian would like to have this kind of vision, to see a prosperous, a harmonious, peaceful nation, where all the ethnic group and all the religious group, they all come and support